What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about the top 5 short squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list going into this upcoming week. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, not in any particular order, you have ticker LOBO, so Lobo EV technology. Over the last 1 year, down 65%, but it is starting to gain some good traction over the last 1 month, up 58.4%. And that's kind of what I like to target. I like to look at stocks that are heavily shorted, but they are starting to build some good momentum behind the scenes, such as this. There's a lot of good information here that I'm not necessarily going to go over, such as market cap and volume and various things like that. This is what they do, so feel free to pause and read through it. It is based out of China, but 29.63% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 828,000 shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 618.51%. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate, so just kind of keep that in mind as well. A lot of other good information up top here that I'm not necessarily going to go over, but short score, higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. And in this case, it is sitting at 81.65. Through IBKR, it does indicate roughly around 1,000 shares is available to be shorted. So reason why I bring that up is often enough, if there is limited shares, big money, BlackRock, Vanguard, a lot of the big known names like to buy stocks just to lend out. So again, stocks such as this are a very limited supply. You could see some nice buying behind the scenes, as honestly, the 530% is pretty juicy. A lot of institutions won't be able to kind of say no to that. So let me know your thoughts on this stock. Moving on to stock number 4. Again, not in any particular order though. You have Hers Health. So sitting at $64.65 over the last 1 year, it is up 360%. Over the last 1 month, it is up 130.93%. Pretty sure a lot of people know what this does, but this is the company profile based out of San Fran, but 33.56% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 65.31 million shares. You do see some signs of manipulation as well, so cost to borrow minimum is negative, meaning that there is brokers out there physically paying people to short the stock. Kind of crazy, but again, it's an annual rate, so it's not that crazy. So it's negative 0.26. So on a daily rate, it's like a penny ultimately. But despite the crazy progress the stock has really moved forward with, you see shorts just relentlessly doubling down. So it is kind of crazy on how this is all kind of playing out. It did have a peak of roughly, it looks as though like 38% of the free floats being shorted. So that was done roughly May the 6th. So kind of crazy how this is all playing out, but short score 63.05, and then through IBKR does indicate 3.6 million shares is available. So you might not see some buying coming from big money to lend out, because cost to borrow is fairly cheap, and plus there is a lot of shares available, but I think you could see definitely a squeeze if this stock does continue to move on up from here. And it did get very close to, or I believe it did actually hit the 52-week high or very close to it. So $64.82. All-time high is $72.98. So definitely a lot of good momentum behind this stock. So add this one to your watch list. Moving on to stock number 3, ticker is LUCI. So innovative eyewear, sitting at $2.80 over the last 1 year, down 30%. Over the last 1 month, it is up 48.05, gaining some pretty good volume as well, so showing that big money is definitely paying attention to it now. This is what they do, so healthcare supplies based out of North Miami in the States, but we are here because of this. And as crazy as it sounds, 99.93% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 1.19 million shares. And I just want to draw your attention to this. Shares on loan, 924,000, but 1.19 million shares is being shorted. So this is a very clear sign of obviously naked shorting. And as well, typically you see these crazy numbers if a company has done a reverse stock split recently, and based on this, their last reverse stock split was July 18th, 2024. So that isn't necessarily the case. So kind of crazy for this, but short score 81.83, and then through IBKR does indicate a lonely 1,000 shares is available to be shorted. So definitely add this one to your watch list. Moving on to stock number 2, you have Virgin Galactic. I used to cover this one quite frequently back in the day, but I think management really dropped the ball significantly, but they did have a earnings recently, and it definitely put them on the map. Over the last 1 year, down 76.7%. Over the last 1 month, it is up 90.1%. This is what they do, based out of California in the States, but 28.61% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 11.22 million shares. Similarly to him and hers, this stock has always been just very heavily shorted. So it's just been, that's been one of the biggest culprits, right? With Virgin, they've typically have had lower volume. So whenever you have a stock that's heavily shorted, they kind of shorts dictate what does happen. But recently, with good earnings, good future guidance, is putting it on the map. And even prior to that, it was gaining some good hype, but short score is 97.03. And then through IBKR does indicate 10,000 shares is available to be shorted. So definitely could see some buying coming this week. And then moving on to stock number 1, KDLY MD, tickers KDLY, sitting at $12.95, has been trading for less than a year, but over the last 5 days, it is down 43%. Over the last 1 month, though, up 699%. So this one gaining some very good traction recently. This is what they do. So based out of Salt Lake City, Utah in the States. This is healthcare services, 42 employees, and founded in 2019. But 13.47% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 642,000 shares. This is exactly what the market does like to squeeze. Somewhat heavily shorted, low float, meets the criteria. Cost to borrow average as well. And for the third time is a annual rate, not a daily, but 700.16% is still fairly high, and then short score is 81.42. Through IBKR, it does indicate 100,000 shares is available to be shorted, but this is a very juicy cost to borrow, so most likely you will be seeing some buying coming from this week. So let me know your thoughts on these top 5. Is there any other squeeze plays that you feel are out there? If so, drop some tickers in the description below. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.